This is the digital channel of the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. I am Manoj Mainkar, and in the next half hour, I'll bring to you news updates from India and around the world, awareness videos on coronavirus by Government of India, and a lot more. We'll begin with the news updates.
This is the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. Namaskar. The news snippets. 917,568 people have recovered from COVID-19 in the country. In the past 24 hours, 31,991 patients have recovered in India. 515,472 tests for COVID-19 were conducted in the country in the last 24 hours. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has launched COVID-19 testing facilities in Noida, Mumbai and Kolkata through video conference. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold discussions with state chief ministers today and tomorrow on the COVID-19 situation in the country. Unlock 3.0 is set to begin from 1st August. Certain states have reimposed lockdown amid surging cases. Prime Minister Modi greeted the Central Reserve Police Force (CRPF) on its 82nd Raising Day. He said that the Central Police Force is at the forefront of keeping our nation safe. Bihar and Assam are reeling under floods. 23 districts in Assam have been affected. Central leadership has spoken to the Assam Chief Minister Sarbananda Sonowal. The North Eastern Council has also assured the state of all help in relief and repair. The first batch of Rafale aircrafts have taken off from France. They will be inducted into the Indian Air Force IAF on Wednesday. The Indian ambassador to France, Javed Ashraf, interacted with the IAF pilots before the journey. Morocco has imposed restrictions in Casablanca, Tangier, Tétouan, and 5 other cities due to spike in COVID-19 cases. More than 80 people were killed in the Darfur region of Sudan in fighting between government and rebel forces, according to the UN. Poland is to exit European Treaty on Violence Against Women. Polish government has said the convention violated rights of parents and contained elements of an ideological nature. And that is the end of the news snippets.
Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Tapaswini Pradhan and I work as a head and neck oncosurgeon in the Department of Oncosurgery at the Fortis Hospital, Shalimar Bagh, Delhi. Head and neck cancers are a major health problem in our country. These diseases have a distinct demographic profile and well-studied risk factors. It is known that 57.5% of the global head and neck cancers occur in Asia. The ICMR data reveals an addition of 4 lakh new head and neck cases every year in our country. Aging and a growing population, coupled with changing lifestyles, have all been contributory to the rising numbers. With due understanding of the gravity of the situation, 27th July every year since 2015 is commemorated as the World Head and Neck Cancer Day. Several activities are conducted all over the world which are primarily targeted at generating awareness pertaining to this highly preventable disease. Important etiological factors behind these cancers are tobacco, alcohol, and dietary deficiencies. While 85% is attributed to tobacco consumption, 75% of these cancers are induced by alcohol. Areca nut, certain viruses, environmental factors, radiation exposures are other risk factors. Since most head and neck cancer patients are tobacco and alcohol users, 10 to 20% of these patients have significant risk of developing cancers at other sites during their lifetime, known as second primary tumors. These second primary tumors mostly become the cause of mortality in these survivors. Prompt diagnosis and early treatment is critical for promoting survival and for improving the quality of life of the survivors. Unfortunately, in India, less than 10% of our patients present in the early stage of the disease. Since head and neck cancers primarily afflict the low socioeconomic strata, common causes of delay have been ignorance, poor access to our healthcare system, low economics, and patients resorting to alternate traditional medications. Management of the head and neck cancers entails a multidisciplinary approach. A combination of surgery, radiotherapy, and/or chemotherapy is often required to achieve the desired result. Most advancements in the treatment of this disease has happened over the last quarter of the 20th century. Robotics, lasers, endoscopes, and better operating microscopes have greatly impacted the surgical procedures. Though surgeries of this area can be disfiguring and disabling, impacting speech and swallowing, development of the reconstructive surgery has been able to mitigate these issues to a great extent. Technological advancements have also made surgeries minimally invasive, thereby reducing the morbidity of the treatment. Despite advances in surgery, chemotherapy, and radiotherapy, head and neck carcinomas carry a high mortality risk. The 5-year survival figures continue to be dismal, 40 to 50% despite aggressive treatment. 40% of the patients who are locally advanced recur after the first line of treatment, with more than 50% developing local regional recurrence within 2 years. This, to a great extent, is attributed to the heterogeneous nature of the disease, both because of its morphological and genetic attributes. A structured approach to the care of cancer survivors is also of enormous importance. Treatment toxicities, physical and psychosocial issues continue to haunt the survivors for a long time. So it's important for the healthcare providers to regularly do surveillance for recurrence, screen patients for second primary tumors, and assess patients' quality of life during the course of their follow-up. This year's pandemic has greatly impacted our healthcare system. With the surge of corona cases, most of the resources have been allocated towards COVID-19 patient care. Everything has been brought to a screeching halt. Cancer treatment has also taken a backseat. Increasing number of oncology guidelines have been developed, both general and specific to head and neck cancers during this pandemic. But the discretion of initiating or delaying cancer treatment during this pandemic has created a complex ethical issue. The other impact which the pandemic has brought is the change in approach to cancer patients in care and communication. A shift to telemedicine as the method of care delivery for patients has become the need of the hour. This not only reduces the patient's exposure to the virus by cutting on the hospital visits, but also helps maintain a patient and clinician bonding. As the old adage goes, prevention is better than cure. The most inexpensive method of eradicating head and neck cancers is primarily through preventive measures. Cutting tobacco and alcohol consumption, coupled with lifestyle modifications, healthy dietary practices, avoidance of exposure to toxic and noxious fumes, and safe sexual practices to a great extent can prevent the genesis of head and neck cancers. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Thank you so much.
You are with us on the General Overseas Service of All India Radio.
You are with us on the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. We now bring you today's commentary. Prime Minister calls for innovation in economic activities. It is scripted and read by Kaushik Rai, AIR news analyst. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his monthly radio broadcast Mann Ki Baat over the All India Radio Network, addressed the people of India. Prime Minister said, 26th of July is a very special day. It was on this very day 21 years ago our army unfurled the flag of victory in the Battle of Kargil. India can never forget the circumstances under which the Battle of Kargil took place. Pakistan had embarked upon this misadventure, nursing delusions of encroaching upon Indian soil to distract attention from the internal strife prevailing there. India was then in the process of making efforts to foster good relations with Pakistan. Prime Minister Modi said, in times of war, whatever we say or do has immense bearing on the morale of the soldier, ever vigilant at the border, as well as the morale of his family. We should never forget this, and that is why our conduct, our demeanor, our speech, our statements, our limits, our aims, whatever we do and say, must distinctively be conducive to enhancing the morale and honor of our soldiers. Prime Minister observed, over the last few months, the way the country fought against Corona unitedly has proven many apprehensions wrong. Today, the recovery rate in our country is better compared to other countries. The mortality rate in the context of Corona in our country is much less as well compared to most countries. Of course, the loss of even one life is saddening. But India has also succeeded in saving the lives of millions of our people. However, we need to be extra vigilant. We have to bear in mind that Corona is as fatal today as it was in the beginning. That is why we have to be fully cautious. Mr. Modi recalled the services of Zaituna Begum of Gandarbal, Jammu and Kashmir. She decided that her panchayat would fight the battle against Corona and along with that create income opportunities too. She distributed free masks and free ration in the vicinity. At the same time, she distributed crop seeds and apple saplings so that people were not subjected to inconvenience in farming and horticulture. The Prime Minister said correct and positive approach always goes a long way in transforming distressing times into opportunities. This triggers development. During the times of Corona, we have witnessed how the youth and women of our country have come up with new experiments on the basis of their talents and skills. In Bihar, many women self-help groups have begun making masks with Madhubani motif. These turned out to be very popular. The Madhubani masks in a way propagate a regional tradition. Besides protecting health, they also create opportunities for livelihood. Using bamboo, artisans of Tripura, Manipur and Assam have started crafting high-quality water bottles and tiffin boxes. This is a new product which is also eco-friendly. Mr. Modi asked people to think innovatively. The youth of Bihar have shown the way. Earlier, they used to do routine jobs. One day, they decided to start cultivating pearls in their area. People did not know much about this, but this group of youth gathered all the requisite information, then went to Jaipur and Bhubaneswar and took training and started cultivating pearls in their village. Today, they are not only earning from this activity but have also started training migrant laborers who have returned from other states at Muzaffarpur, Begusarai and Patna. For many people, this has opened the avenues to self-reliance. Mr. Modi said 7th August is National Handloom Day. The handloom of India and our handicrafts encompass a glorious history of hundreds of years. It should be our endeavor to use Indian handloom and handicrafts as much as possible and also tell more and more people about them. Prime Minister recalled India's close relationship with Suriname. More than 100 years ago, people from India went there and made it their home. Today, more than 1/4 of the population of Suriname is of Indian origin. Sarnami is one of the common languages there. It is a dialect of Bhojpuri. India feels very proud of these cultural bonds. Mr. Chandrika Prasad Santokhi has been recently elected as the President of Suriname. On his oath-taking ceremony, Mr. Santokhi recited Vedic hymns. He also spoke in Sanskrit. Prime Minister congratulated Mr. Chandrika Prasad Santokhi and wished him the best on behalf of 130 crore Indians. That was today's commentary entitled Prime Minister Calls for Innovation in Economic Activities. It was scripted and read by Kaushik Rai, AIR News Analyst.
This commentary came to you from the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. This is the General Overseas Service of All India Radio. We now bring you a special film-based program from our archives.
Indian cinema has just completed 100 years of indigenous feature film production, with D.G. Phalke having released his Raja Harishchandra on 3rd May 1913. It is therefore an apt time to remember all the other great pioneers of Indian cinema who led this medium with its first few steps to become the global giant that it has now become. The government also recognized many of these pioneers by presenting them the Dada Saheb Phalke Award for Lifetime Achievement, so that their works become etched in the annals of Indian cinema history. One such pioneer was Bhalji Pendharkar, who received the top award in 1992. Interestingly, Bhalji was a cousin of the noted V. Shantaram, who won this award in 1986. Bhalji Pendharkar was born on 3rd May 1897 to Radhabai and her patron Dr. Gopal Pendharkar. Bhalji was related to quite a few film personalities in the Indian film industry. His elder brother, Babu Rao Pendharkar, was a known film personality. Other famous names in the family included half-brother Master Vinayak, who was Radhabai's son after she married Karnataki, and cousin V. Shantaram, who was son of Kamlabai, Radhabai's younger sister. Bhalji had two wives. One of them, Leela Chandragiri, acted and sang in Hindi and Marathi films in 1930s under the name Miss Leela. Bhalji's son Prabhakar Pendharkar, 1933 to 2010, was associated with the making of Do Aankhein Bara Haath by V. Shantaram in the 1950s, wrote a book, and was author-director of noteworthy documentaries a few years before his death. Right from childhood, Bhalji preferred to remain aloof and had a spiritual bent of mind towards life. He was inspired by Sadguru Sadanand at his early age. He contributed to the freedom movement along with freedom fighters Baba Rao Savarkar and Chandrasekhar Azad. He admired Chhatrapati Shivaji and Lord Krishna. Bhalji started his career in the era of silent films. He was associated with Prabhat Film Company's earliest talkies and also worked with other studios in hometown of Kolhapur. His first earnings came as title writer in Kala Maharishi Babu Rao Painter's Maharashtra Film Company. He gradually started playwriting and worked continuously and produced his own independent films based on three principles of his life: God, nation and religion, till his death at the age of 97 years. Like his cousin V. Shantaram, all Bhalji's early films had strong messages for the viewers and were highly motivating films. While the films made before independence were taken from mythology with stories that could motivate the people, those made after independence had stories from Indian mythology aimed at giving a direction to the young. Along with entertainment, his main goal was social awakening, and in his films he attempted to awaken the feelings of pride and patriotism in society. Later he acquired his own studio, Jaya Prabha Studio, and became a film producer and director. He also wrote lyrics for some film songs in Marathi. He directed nearly 60 films and also contributed to the script, dialogues and songs of around 10 films. He produced two feature films, Netaji Palkar in 1939 and Vande Mataram Ashram in 1927, and acted in one film, Prithvi Vallabh, in 1924. His more famous films are Netaji Palkar, Thora Tanchi Kamala, Chhatrapati Shivaji, Mohityanchi Manjula, Maratha Tutuka Milwawa, Sadhi Manse, and Tamdi Mati, and Hindi films Maharani Karna, Valimi, Chhatrapati Shivaji, and Ganimi Kawa. Some other renowned films are Baji Rao Mastani 1925, Rani Roopmati 1931, Shyam Sundar 1932, Akashvani 1934, Pathakumar 1934, Kalia Mardan 1935, Muraliwala 1935, Rukmani Kalyanam 1936, Savitri also in 1936, Kanhopatra in 1937, Raja Gopichand in 1938, Alakh Niranjan in 1940, in which he also made Gorakhnath, Bhakta Damji in 1942, Swarnabhumi in 1944, and Valmiki 2 years later in 1946. In 1948, Bhalji Pendharkar's Jayaprabha studio was burned down in the riots that broke out after Mahatma Gandhi's assassination. Around 200 workers became jobless. 2 films, Meet Bhakar and Bal Gajbar's Mere Lal, had just been shot, and the films were destroyed in the fire. With grit and determination, Bhalji rebuilt Jayaprabha Studios and remade these 2 films. Meet Bhakar made good money and film production began again in full swing in Kolhapur. After independence, Bhalji Pendharkar made films that expressed the feeling of freedom and patriotism. In films like Bahirji Nayak, Netaji Palkar, and Mohityanchi Manjula, Bhalji took a stand against injustice and weakness. His first film after independence was made in 1949, Meet Bhakar. Other post-independence films included Mazi Zameen, Maharani Yesubhai, Yere Majhya Maglya, Pavan Khind, Naikinicha Saza, Akash Ganga, Mohityanchi Manjula, Marathi Tituka Milwawa. He produced movies with a strong motive towards molding the youth into a motivated, goal-oriented future generation to lead an independent India. Bhalji's meaningful movies were at the same time excellent in terms of technique and art. Bhalji Pendharkar's production house was a school that created excellent artists and technicians. His staff was like a family, and his production house ran on the principles of discipline, adherence to time, clear division of labor, prayers, chanting of mantras, and a structured schedule. Artists like Sulochana, the Mandre brothers, and Jayashri Gadkar worked and became successful under him. Since the incidents and people during Shivaji's time were his favorite, and most of his movies depicted this, he is known as Chitra Tapasvi in the film Fraternity. Around the time of his death in November 1994, a Bhalji Pendharkar Cultural Center was established to preserve his work and views. A Bhalji Pendharkar Film and Theatre Academy was set up to introduce Indian culture through the medium of fine arts, protecting and helping art. The academy has been set up in Kolhapur, which has been the pioneer of all aspects of art, film and theatre over the decades. The course includes teaching and practical work. FTA has 2 theatrical halls. The FTA library includes large collection of books relating to performing arts, television, film and theatre. The films division made a film directed by P.B. Pend on Bhalji Pendharkar a year after he passed away. Like a famous song said, "हम लाए हैं तूफान से कश्ती निकाल के, इस देश को रखना मेरे बच्चों संभाल के." It is now up to us to retain that heritage and bring the level of cinema to the heights foreseen by the veterans and pioneers.
You were listening to a special film-based program from our archives. This program came to you from the General Overseas Service of All India Radio.
Greetings to the listeners of All India Radio. I'm Nishtha Kavrani, and today is the National Sleepyhead Day, which is celebrated in Finland. You may have encountered a lot of people, but do you know any lazy person around you? You may know, but what you do not is that there is a day in Finland known as National Sleepyhead Day, which is celebrated for such people. So, What is so unusual about the day? Let us discover more about this remarkable day. Finland has a national day where people celebrate the sleepy heads of their society. On 27th July each year, if you are the last person to wake up in your household, well then you will be woken up in a pretty sudden way. This day is dedicated to the last sleeping member of the family. So if you are the last person to wake up in your family, you will be lifted out of your bed and thrown out into the nearest sea or lake. Though, if you are lucky and your family is not that brutal, then you may just have a bucket of water poured on your head. This is all done because it is believed that the last person who wakes up on a National Sleepyhead Day is the laziest person of the household and therefore needs help to wake up. And though you may think this is just a fun and silly national day that bears no meaning, it actually has a cultural significance. Honoring the sleepy heads has not just come about by chance. There is actually a Christian myth hiding in this Sleepyhead Day. The event has been made to honor the 7 sleepers of Ephesus, which is a Christian and Muslim myth that translates to people of the cave. Based on a group of people who hid out in a cave to escape religious persecution in the city of Ephesus. This Christian version of the myth highlights the story of 7 people who were accidentally locked in a cave for 2 whole centuries. Imagine that, being locked in a cave for 200 years. The incredible part of the story, which makes it a myth, is that when the cave was reopened in 450 AD, the 7 people trapped were still there, merrily sleeping. This led to the Finnish people deciding it was a way to tease people, and if you did not wake up in time, then you may end up sleeping for 200 years. Although the whole country will celebrate this day, but it's especially a big event in the little city of Naantali, which is a coastal city located in the southwestern Finland. In Naantali, large festivities for the day start at 5:30 in the morning. Music and procession of pajama and dressing gown clad people armed with a range of noise-producing instruments and kitchen utensils wake up in the town from 6 a.m. onwards. Traditionally, a celebrity sleepyhead is thrown into the harbor basin at 7 a.m. The identity of the sleepyhead is a big secret until the very last minute. The victim is wrapped in bed sheets and carried to the harbor on a stretcher. Only when he falls into the water, or rather surfaces again from there, the audience can see who it is. Usually, it is someone who has been benefited the town in some way. So, for example, every mayor of the town is thrown into the water at least once. In addition, many artists, heads of business, and the husband of former President Tarja Halonen have had the honor of being Naantali's sleepyhead in the past. Afterwards, there are festivities all throughout the day. With such unusual tradition, people create joy out of their routine life. However, it's a great idea to teach a lesson to the laziest person of the family. So, a happy National Sleepyhead Day to all the amazing listeners. Thank you. Today is the birthday of Bollywood actress Kriti Sanon, so let's hear something about it. Kriti Sanon, the gorgeous, versatile, and one of the most promising and talented actress of Bollywood. Today, on the 27th of July, she celebrates her 30th birthday. Kriti was born on 27 July 1990 in New Delhi, India. She belongs to a middle-class Khatri family. Her father, Rahul Sanon, is a chartered accountant, and her mother, Geeta Sanon, is a professor in the University of Delhi. Though she hails from a non-filmy background, she has great acting skills and has proved herself in many movies. She is well known for her stunning performances in the movies Hero Panti, Dilwale and Bareli Ki Barfi. She got a breakthrough role as an actor in 2014 in the Telugu film Nenu Khadeen as Samira opposite Mahesh Babu. In the same year, she got her first Bollywood break with the film Hero Panti, in which she played the lead role of Dimpy opposite Tiger Shroff. She received positive feedbacks and reviews from the audience and won several awards. She was bestowed with the Big Star Most Entertaining Actor Female, Filmfare Award for Best Female Debut, and International Indian Film Academy Awards for the Star Debut of the Year Female, an IFA Award for Style Icon of the Year in 2018. Kriti has endorsed several brands like Himalaya, Close Up, Vival, Samsung, and Amul. She has also appeared on the cover of various popular magazines like Vogue, Fusion, The Juice, FHM, Hello, Femina, and Cosmopolitan India. Since her school days, she had this huge interest in acting and always wanted to become an actress. She did her schooling from Delhi Public School, R.K. Puram, and her graduation B.Tech in Electronics and Telecommunications Engineering from JP Institute of Information and Technology, Noida, Uttar Pradesh. While she was studying in college, she took part in a website contest in which her sister, Nupur Sanon, clicked and sent her photographs. Fortunately, she won the online website contest, and the famous Indian photographer Dabu Ratnani gave her a free portfolio. She also got a contract for 1 year with a well-known modeling agency. She was and is still a great model. She became the first choice for so many fashion designers like Ritu Beri, Nikki Mahajan, and Suneet Verma. Kriti was a bright student and she proved herself in academics as well. She received 2 job offers through her college placement cell, but she rejected these to pursue her dream of modeling and becoming an actor. Kriti is a beautiful actress who has proved herself in a very short span of time. On the occasion of her 30th birthday, we all wish her abundance of happiness and luck in life. Thank you.
This broadcast came to you from the digital channel of the General Overseas Service of All India Radio.